Hey, good morning, everybody. Greg Wareham with Your Mortgage Process. Thanks for getting together today. Appreciate you listening. So I want to do something a little bit different today, and I really wanted to do a day in the life of a salesperson. And I think it's really pertinent to anyone that's in the mortgage industry and anyone that's in real estate because the industries really complement each other. So I'm just going to kind of break down for you this morning, what I got going on. I generally work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sometimes I'll take calls after 8 p.m., but I really try to keep everything down to a 12-hour day. So this morning, what am I doing? So I'm trying to prepare for a meeting that I have at 10 o'clock that we'll be doing with a group of real estate agents. We'll be presenting in front of them. Also, I'm going to give you a glimpse of our recording studio that's open to real estate agents. I think it's really great. We've had a lot of success in that recording studio. Later on today, we're going to have an event that starts at 4:30 that's with a group of real estate agents, and then I have to hop on a call for another group of real estate agents, about 30 agents that are looking to build and grow their business. And that one's hosted by Mary Beth Olives, who's tremendous, and we're going to pull you into that one as well. So anyway, let me show you what I got going on this morning. So the first thing I'm doing is I want to follow up on my emails. So I shut down last night at about 9 o'clock. I ran past that 8 p.m. deadline. So I'm catching up on some emails and some really important things going on today. I got several clients that are closing on their purchases today, and I just want to make sure everything's in order. So that's kind of the first thing of the day, make sure everything's in order, make sure everything's on time for closing today. The second thing that I'm looking at are any new applications that came in last night. And we got several new applications that came in. We have to look at those today, and we have to put together a mortgage pre-approval. Once we put together the mortgage pre-approval, got to email it out to the consumer or the home buyer, need to get a copy over to the real estate agent, and then also for the consumer, I have to give them an idea as to the type of documents they need to gather over a course of time. As an example, they need their W-2s and their pay stubs, bank statements, and several other items. But I like to let them know up front, this is the stuff we're going to need, and I get them done very quickly, right? So if you did an application last night, you can plan on getting your pre-approval today. Now, you notice that I got two computers. This one I was doing the emails and the things I just mentioned. On this computer, I am paying attention to the market. So a couple of things that are really important from the mortgage industry that I stay tuned into all the time. The 10-year Treasury bond yield, and then also the mortgage-backed securities market. So on the 10-year Treasury bond yield, generally speaking, when you see that yield going up, long-term interest rates are going up. And if you see that yield coming down, long-term interest rates are going down. And there's a couple indicators as to what the market's probably going to do today with Dow futures and some other things. So I'm staying tuned into that this morning. Mortgage-backed securities market, very similarly, works from a standpoint of what the value of a mortgage-backed security is, can influence what today's pricing will be. So I just want to stay ahead of that and be prepared to deliver that information to my real estate partners and then also to the consumer. So that's what we got going on here. The other thing that I'm doing is in preparing for the meeting today with the real estate agents, I want to make sure that I have all my ducks in a row as to what I want to talk about. Now, the hallmark, I think, at least of what I do, is preparation. I'm never going to go into a meeting where I'm unprepared. I may not be the smartest guy in the room, but no one's going to be more prepared than I am to try to get the information across to people. So I've been talking the past couple of weeks about consumer debt in the United States. And consumer debt right now is about $17 trillion in the United States, of which about $12.5 trillion of that is mortgage debt between primary mortgage, which is $12.1 trillion, and then home equity lines. So it's a lot. It's a huge chunk of consumer debt. The other two big factors in there are car loans, which are $1.5 trillion, and credit cards, which are a little over $1 trillion. As I'm thinking about what I want to talk about today, I'm really latched into the credit cards and the credit card debt. And the reason for that is the huge jump in credit card debt that we've seen in this country over the past several months. We've literally seen credit card debt increase by over $100 billion in the past quarter. $100 billion. So you think about that, that's about a 10% increase from where it's been. And it's now surpassed the highest levels that we had that were prior to COVID. Prior to COVID, it was about $927 billion. So now we've exceeded that. So that creates a real dilemma, right? So if I'm a homeowner right now that has a ton of equity in my property, which most people have 40% equity in their property, I have a couple options if I've accrued a lot of credit card debt. I can sell my house, sell my house, try to top out at the market, take part of the proceeds of that sale, and I can pay off all my credit card debt, purchase a new house. Now, if you do that, your overall debt load should go down, right? Because you paid off all these credit cards in the process of going through that purchase and sale. That's one option. Another option is, can I tap into the equity that I have in my property? And you can do that in two fashions. You can do it through refinancing your mortgage and doing what's called a cash out refinance and paying off your debt, or you can do it through a home equity line. Here's the pros and cons with it, right? So if I refinance my mortgage right now, the downside is I probably have a really low interest rate on my current mortgage. So to pay off $50,000 in credit card debt, if I have a $400,000 mortgage at 3.5%, that may not be the best financial decision for me. In which case, I'm going to look at a home equity line. And can I use a home equity line to pay off that high interest credit card debt? And those rates now are 18 to 25%. And use a home equity line that's going to have a lower rate. I can reduce my monthly payment, make the debt load manageable, and also part of that interest may be tax deductible for you depending on your individual tax situation. Now, in some situations, it does make sense to refinance everything, and I'll give you an example. Say someone owes $100,000 on their mortgage, but they have $200,000 of debt they want to pay off, or maybe they want to do renovations. Now, that bulk of the money that we would do in a home equity line, it may make more sense to pay off that first mortgage, pull the $200,000 out, and then just redo a first mortgage. So there are a couple different options on there. And then the third option is you can file for bankruptcy, which is never a good idea. Your debt load's too overwhelming, and I just want to absolve the debt. Now, when you're a homeowner with a lot of equity, that can be a real challenge to be able to do, because the court's not just going to grant that. There may be some restructuring bankruptcies under a Chapter 13, Chapter 7, where the debt just goes away. I'm not advising for that. I think it's always a bad idea and a very last resort. So these are some of the things we want to talk about today and really give education to the real estate agents as to conversations that we need to be having with our database now. People have a lot of equity. People are still working, but people are also taking on a lot of debt right now. We've got to do a great job as an industry, the mortgage industry and the real estate industry, to educate our clients as to how they can leverage that equity to make sure they don't put themselves in a bad situation. So anyway, I'll keep going on and on. I got to finish up and get ready for this meeting that we're going to be going to. Look forward to spending the day with everyone. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, so we made it to Spring Lake, New Jersey. We're doing a meeting today. And it's funny, I'm thinking on the ride over here, I'm thinking about, all right, what do you need if you want to be a great salesperson or you want to be a really strong loan officer? You think, hey, what do I need? I need a pen, I need my phone, maybe a computer, and a calculator, right? Well, that's not necessarily it. Come on, you're going to see the kind of stuff we got to bring with us. So as we get ready for this meeting today and then setting up the production studio, I got my laptop with both the computers in it. This is why I work out. I spared you that video this morning, the workout video at 5 a.m. All right, got to have my water and my lunchbox. Big fan, small meals all day long. That's what I do. So, all right, let's see. I got this, I got that. Then I have production equipment. All right, come on, so let's get everything set up, guys. Come on. Got to get my keys, guys. Got to get my keys. Hold on. All right, so welcome. Welcome to the studio. I mean, a lot of magic happens in here. Now, we shoot stuff for ourselves as loan officers from this location, but really the bigger thing that we focus on is providing value for our business partners. So we do a lot of video with real estate agents that we work with to try to help them create their digital brand. And, we've had some success with it. We had a lot of success with it, and we're looking to build and expand on it. So we're going to get everything set up in case we do a shoot after our meeting today. So I'm going to start putting everything together. Your mortgage process, the setup. All right, guys, so it's 9:22 in the morning. So I'm going to try to get everything set up before we go into the meeting at 10 o'clock. So as you can see, again, we got two computers. One's going to run the production software, and then we got to plug in a lot of different things. So this is the motherboard that we run everything from. We have a screen for any guests so they can see themselves, especially when we start to add different words on there or they want to point to different things. So it's a little bit technical. Now, I've been lucky to have been mentored by the person behind the camera right now, Nick Pavis from the Social Rift. He's done a great job in trying to educate me on how to move this stuff pretty efficiently. So thanks, Nick. All right, we're just about there, everybody. I think we got everything set up here. Come on over. Come on over. Let me show you what we got. All right, so we've set up now. So now we have our software running to do video shoots for agents and for our loan officers to really try, again, help them enhance their brand and create a digital footprint. You can notice we can put any picture behind this. We can put a video behind it. We can add any words to it. We can do anything from this software. So part of the process with it, if you keep an eye on the screen for a second, you'll see, I'm going to get in front of it. Here we are. So, we have everything set up. The only thing that we're going to have to do now is when an agent comes in, we're going to cater things to them with the appropriate picture. We're going to do it with the right verbiage, and we're going to make sure that everything looks great. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to lob them up. So we have our microphones here. So check it out. We got 3 different microphones, and they're microphones that we're going to use, and we're going to attach to them similar to the one that I have on right now. So that's what we're going to do, and then we'll have a full production shoot, very, very high quality, and this creates a tremendous amount of value. As I said earlier when I was at my office, you can see I'm here early because I'm going to be prepared. Preparation is the hallmark for everything that you're doing. So you know what, guys? You see, I got my face in the computer a lot as well because in between everything else that we're doing, I'm trying to pre-qualify someone looking to purchase a home right now, and I'm just trying to stay on top of all the other work that you'd naturally have in the day-to-day flow. We're getting ready to go downstairs, and a couple of things. I'm going to introduce you to a few people that are on the team, and then you have the opportunity to see some of the things that we'll do in the meeting and how we prepare for it. But I will show you this. We come with folders and flyers, right? So we want to be able to talk today, as I mentioned before, about the debt load in the U.S., but there's also information in here on down payment assistance programs, how to circle prospect, how we provide data, how we can do a lot of different things for the real estate agent and our business partners to help them enhance their business. As I said before, when you look at what your pillars are of doing business, mine has always been working with real estate agents and then working with my book of business. I've been doing it for 25 years, so I have a lot of clients. So with that being said, you double down on those activities, especially in a tough market like the one that we're in right now. If you've worked with real estate agents in the past and you're a mortgage originator, you got to double down on that. You have to provide more value because you know what? The real estate agents aren't doing the business they're used to doing, and now's the time to help everybody. So with that being said, we're going to go down there with all our folders. We're going to talk to everyone and see how we can provide value. All right, guys, it's almost 10 o'clock. We're getting ready to go in and deliver some amazing information to our partners at Keller Williams in Spring Lake, New Jersey. I'm so lucky to have a couple of great people from the team today. Aaliyah, Brianna, thanks for taking the time to join.
Of course.
Now, Aaliyah, what are we going to go in and talk about today?
We're going to start talking about the value that we can provide to agents, whether that's help with circle prospecting, providing leads, helping with open houses, and just what we can do to gain you more business.
That's great. And Brianna, what else are we going to put on the agenda?
And we want to give you some insight into the plethora of programs that we offer, including our down payment assistance program for first-time home buyers.
Hey, that's great information. And as you all know, I'm going to talk a little bit about debt and how we get this consumer credit card debt under control. So, all right, it's almost 10 o'clock. We got to go in there. We'll catch up with you soon.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Hi, how are you? Both of what you're saying with cold data, circle prospecting, and all of that, we have it all in this folder for you with the first-time homebuyer program, New Jersey bond program, everything's in here. So if you want a copy of this folder, we have them at the back desk. I think one of the things actually 2 things that I wanted to talk about. I mentioned briefly last week about debt in this country. So anyone remember how much consumer debt we have in the United States? 1.21 gigawatts. It's $17 trillion in debt. So of the $17 trillion in debt, 12.1 trillion of it is in mortgage debt, like first mortgage debt. And when you include home equity lines, it's about $12.5 trillion in consumer debt. So it's by far the bulk of the debt in this country. The other two big ones are car loans, are 1.5 trillion, and credit cards, which is now over $1 trillion. And I just wanted to talk about the credit card debt one more time and kind of lead it down a path of solution for people who own real estate. So you figure with the credit card debt, the number jumped by $106 billion in the past 3 months. $106 billion. It's funny, Tom and I were having a conversation last week that gross domestic product was up to 4.9%. And we're talking about after the meeting, like, how's that possible? Well, when you start looking at things like consumer debt load that we're taking on, we're still consuming, we just don't have the money to consume. And the debt's at the highest level that it's ever been since prior to COVID, where it was $327 billion. All right, so we have a situation, obviously. People are spending more than they're making. But they also have an average about 40% equity in their property. So if you have all this debt, you got really 3 options. You can sell your home with all the equity, purchase a new home, and pay off all your debt in the process. And we see a lot of that. And can you get that monthly nut down? Because you're going to save a ton of money on a monthly basis. So that's a reason to sell as people start to take on more and more debt. They're going to get panicky. The other option is you could tap into the equity of your home, and you could do a cash-out refinance, or you can do a home equity line. So a cash-out refinance, we pay off the first mortgage, we consolidate the debt, whatever other cash you need, and you have a new mortgage payment. Now, if you have a 3.5% interest rate on your mortgage right now, it may not make sense for you to do, unless you owe $70,000 on your mortgage and need to pull out $100,000 in cash. Then those numbers could work. The other option is you tap into the equity of the property. You do a home equity line, say for $100,000, you pay off your $50,000 in credit card debt that are currently, as the Federal Reserve has increased rates, credit card rates are 18 to 25% now. Get it into a home equity line, and now it's likely that that interest would be tax deductible for you as well. Plus, it's going to lower your overall monthly nut. And then your third option as a consumer is you file bankruptcy. That's it. Those are the options. And nobody wants to file bankruptcy. So especially if you own a home and you have 40% equity, try to file one and see if you even get it through. So my point with it, just from a calling standpoint, this is a reason to call everybody. They have more equity than they've ever had, and they have more debt than they've ever had. And everything feels hunky-dory on the surface right now. Economy's good and all of that. But at the end of the day, you're not living in the house that they're living in right now. And statistically, they're all starting to take on a massive amount of debt. And how can we provide a solution to them? All of us, right? Because the answer could very well be, hey, I'm 57 years old. I'm thinking about going into a 55 and older community anyway. And that's usually where I see a lot of the debt, by the way. But I have $60,000 in credit card debt. Okay, we'll sell your house. You're going to buy something at a 55 and older. You're going to reduce your monthly nut significantly, plus you're going to pay off that $3,000 a month in minimum monthly payments that were on your credit cards. Thank you. Yeah, Deb.
And also, won't it increase your FICO?
It can, sure. I mean, depends on what your credit looks like, right? So FICO score is going to be a component of what your debt load is relative to your payment history and how leveraged you are on paper, as an example. If you have a $10,000 credit card, you owe $9,900 per month, that has a negative impact on your credit score, even if you pay it on time. God forbid you go late. I mean, it's going to really hurt your credit significantly. But if you have $3,000 on your credit card and you have a $10,000 limit, that's not hurting you negatively month after month. So there are some situations, Deb, where it can increase your FICO score. But these are real conversations to real situations that are going on in the marketplace right now. And people really have to start thinking about, how am I leveraging that equity? Am I leveraging it to do some other type of mortgage, home equity line, cash out refinance? Or is it really time? Is it time for me to cut ties, sell my house, the big house that everybody grew up in, and go in another direction? And at the same time, take all the pressure off, especially when you're looking at fixed income that you may go into 5 to 10 years from now. Any questions? All right, guys, it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Next thing that we're going to do today is we're going to talk to Alexis. We're going to film some stuff for you as a real estate agent. So I know we're looking at some different topics. What do you want to talk about on it?
I would love to talk about being part of Keller Williams. I'm a new agent here.
Sure.
And I would love to talk about like my experience here, what I've done since I've been here, what I've learned, how amazing it is to be part of this organization.
That's fantastic. I think that's good, or no?
Close. Too far. Too close.
You're overthinking it. All right, so we just wrapped up our shoot with Alexis. How'd it go, Alexis? How do you feel?
It was so much fun.
Was
that
it?
was great, yeah.
Now, were you nervous coming into it?
Sure. I mean, it is a little nerve-wracking doing something like this, but you and Bree were like a great help, just kind of guiding me to just do it.
That's great.
Just do it.
And you feel good about what you did?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good.
No, that's fantastic. Well, listen, look forward to doing it again with you again. And you should check it out, guys. All right, guys, so we finished up our shooting with a real estate agent, and she's thrilled with what we put together for us. It's great. And what we did is we put together about 30 to 60-second clips that she can post on social media. We did a total of 3 different ones, and now she can have some content that she can get out there. And behind the scenes with the camera, part of it is setting everything up, filming it, making sure everything aesthetically looks really good, but also coaching the individual through it. And that takes time and it takes experience to coach people through what they need to say, the inflections in which they need to say it to make a piece that really pops when you put it out there from an advertisement standpoint. So we got about 3 hours before we go to our next event. And during that time, we're going to catch up on emails. In addition to that, I have a few customers that I need to return phone calls on. We have to update a couple of pre-approvals. In between different times that we've been talking, you've seen shoots, I've been updating pre-approvals, talking to new customers as well. So as you can kind of see, every minute of every day, we have booked into doing something that's productive. So right now, we're going to shut it down for 3 hours where we just focus on our customers and our referral sources, and we're going to catch back up when we leave and head over to our event. All right, it's about 4:40 in the afternoon. We're going to our event that I'm hosting today, sponsoring today in conjunction with a coach and a bunch of real estate agents. Let's go in, we'll hang out for a couple hours. Looking forward to it. After this, we're gonna hop on another phone call that we have at about 7:15, and we'll take everything from there. All right, come on, let's go. It's gonna be a great time. Another 6 to 12 months in this marketplace. It's going deep, not wide, with everything. How deep can you go in those business channels that you're going after to really try and move the needle on it? What area are you going into? It's like one of the things we're doing right now with agents that you know about is we're shooting some independent videos with them in our office in Spring Lake. And one of the big things I'm trying to tell people to do is talk about the area. You got to go deep with it, right? If you're going to, in a particular area or a particular business channel that you're going after, you got to get it out there. And you got to get it out there, disciplined fashion, win social media, 30 to 60-second pieces, and do it with consistency. Just wanted to connect at the end of the day. It is 7:48 at night, and I just pulled into my driveway. I'm going to be going in the house shortly, but I wanted to talk to you before I did that because I really don't like to take my work home with me. That's not true at all. I take my work home with me all the time. It's what I do. I'm kind of always on the go and kind of always pushing forward. But to kind of recap what we did today, we had met in the office at 8 o'clock this morning, and I was preparing for a meeting that I had at 10 o'clock today, making sure that we had the right information to deliver to our real estate partners at the office that we were speaking in front of. We also had the opportunity to check out the studio that we filmed from today. Also, we shot some video with real estate agents that I work with on a regular basis because I'm really trying to help them increase and improve their digital presence out there. We all know that that's a critical part of this industry. After that, I was on the phone call with people that were looking to get pre-approved for a mortgage, people that have already went under contract to purchase a home. We had to get their loans moving forward. And there's many, many calls with the business partners and real estate agents that I'm fortunate enough to work with and the clients that are already in process, updating them as to everything that's going on to make sure that everything's going really smoothly for them. And when you're buying a house, that's a stressful time, and it's my job to make sure that I'm communicating at a high level, that everyone feels informed about the process. It's supposed to be the happiest time of your life, and we try to provide that type of service for people. After that, I went to a mastermind with about 10 to 12 agents, and I was fortunate enough to work with some like-minded people and have an open discussion for a couple hours about where the business is at, where we see it going, what are some of the creative solutions in the industry to kind of stay ahead of the market. And I really enjoyed my time. I had a 7:15 phone call with another coaching group. There were about 25 real estate agents on that call. And one of the topics that came up was database management. If I were to go back in time, and if there was one thing that I could change in the business, I would have started tracking every single person that I ever spoke to since I came into the industry in 1998. And you're talking thousands upon thousands of people. And back when I got in the industry, really database management wasn't as big of a thing as it is today. There really weren't the computer systems in place to be able to stay in touch with people and to keep everything in a nice, refined, centralized database. It really wasn't until I was about in the industry for 10 years that I started to track people methodically. And why it's so important is, as a loan officer, I need to make sure that I'm staying in front of all of my business partners and giving them quality content and education about things that are changing in the industry. And also with my consumer database, it's important that I stay in touch with people, see how things are going, make sure everything's going good with their mortgage, and, have those regular touch-ins because it's important. It's important to stay in front of people, and it's important to let everybody know that you care and that you're thinking about them. From here, I'm going to go into the house, and I have to return some emails that I wasn't able to return this afternoon. I have to update 2 pre-approvals for clients, and then I'll probably call it quits for the night. So I plan on wrapping up at about 8:30. I know I said I was at 8 to 8 this morning when we were talking about it, but this one's going to push to about 8:30. After that, I'm going to spend some time with my family, which is like my favorite part of my day. And I'm going to read a book, go to bed, and I'm going to do it all over again because this career is fantastic, and I love what I do, and I love working with all the people that I work with. I'm really a blessed guy. So look forward to catching up with everyone soon. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for tuning in to this week's edition of Your Mortgage Process, hosted by Greg Wareham, produced by Greg Wareham and Nick Pavis at The Social Rift, and executively produced by The Social Rift. Thank you again for tuning in, and we look forward to catching up with you next week.